Hi, my name is Kirsten Cross, and I am proposing to end standardized testing in Texas. First things first, we're going to go through the table of contents. So we're going to start off with an overview. We're then going to go to the background. We're going to talk about the problem. We're going to talk about the solution and the purpose of the solution. And then we're going to talk about the budget, the methods and benefits of this solution, and then the conclusion, and we'll end with the references. So a little overview. Standardized testing has long been a cornerstone of Texas education system, most known as the Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness. The Texas Board of Education developed these tests back in 2012, and since then controversy has spiraled with many different opinions on these assessments. Research has been conducted, and multiple studies have shown the importance and effectiveness of these tests. However, students learn differently across the board, and these assessments aren't always a great indicator of a student's intelligence level. On top of that, these tests are causing mental strain on teachers and students, and I propose the removal of this test to be reevaluated and replaced with a more effective alternative. A little bit of background about these assessments. The first STAR test was introduced and administered to students in the state of Texas school systems in 2012. This standardized test is usually administered at the end of the school year to measure the student's academic readiness. An exemption from these tests are not possible, and failure to meet the passing standard can force students to retake the test or be held back a grade, or in some cases not graduate if they're seniors. The problem. So as mentioned before, the problem is that the tests do not accurately measure a student's intelligence, and they cause mental strain on students and teachers. The solution to this problem would be to introduce performance-based portfolios. Although Texas school systems must assess instructors' and students' productivity and curriculum comprehension, there's more effective ways. So the use of these performance-based portfolios would be a great solution. No matter what the subject is, portfolios will allow students to demonstrate what they have learned throughout the school year in a creative, comprehensive way. This type of presentation requires the students to present their learning verbally in a way that the audience understands, which is more personal for the student. And it's also just a better way to learn overall instead of sitting down and taking a paper test. So there will be a little bit of a budget for this project since we are introducing something new. $50 million will fund statewide teacher training and assessment design, rubric development, and equitable grading practices. Since this is a new thing, teachers are going to have to be trained differently, and so $50 million will go towards that. $30 million will support digital portfolio platform storage and accessibility tools. And then an additional $10 million will cover administrative oversight and staffing, so the people that will oversee these tests or these portfolios assessments. Method and benefits. So this alternative will allow teachers to measure a student's progress throughout the school year more accurately without having a set testing day. Teachers' demands for an improved public education system would be addressed by this alternative. And then restructuring this test might help motivate present teachers to stay in the classroom and then inspire teachers who have left to return to the classrooms, because a lot of the times teachers will leave because they don't understand why we have standardized testing and why it should be a thing, since most of the time it's not very beneficial towards the students or the teachers. And teachers are usually teaching towards a test rather than teaching to their students. And then this method will allow for a way to assess students' learning progress over the year while lessening the negative effects that the tests have on both students and teachers. Conclusion. The current reliance on standardized testing in Texas, particularly the STAR exam, has proven to be an inadequate and often harmful measure of student achievement and teacher effectiveness. With increasing evidence pointing to the emotional toll and limited academic insight provided by these tests, it is clear that change is both necessary and overdue. By transitioning from the STAR to the performance-based portfolios, this method will reduce stress among students and teachers, as well as offer a different way of evaluating knowledge that can provide a more complete picture of student achievement. Texas Education Agency and Texas Board of Education, let's build an education system that lifts students up, supports our teachers, and prepares for the next generation. Not just for a test. It's time to make a change. And here are my references. Thank you.